I don't use 4chan. I knew of its existence, but I didn't really know what benefits it would give me. I thought it would have turned me into a monster, but I had to, because I was searching for. There was no porn. There was no good porn anywhere else on the internet for a very specific niche, and I had to go there. And first of all, I got my answer. There's some real good stuff on the 4chan. Sadly, the thread got deleted, but it got reinstated, I suppose. And I just I didn't want to talk about why I went there. I wanted to talk about the specific vibe that I get from 4chan after reading it. And there's like a very comforting uh, aspect to 4chan now that I realize like why so many people hang out on it and use it. So I guess I'm trying to explain this vibe, this attitude that I get. It feels like 4chan feels like the edge of the world. It feels like you're wasting your time at some saloon in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of like-minded people with nothing else to do. That's what 4chan kind of feels like. It's very slice of lifey in that way. And that's kind of the point of it. It's a forum, it's where people gather to talk about everything else, anything on the internet. It's got a lot of, specific slash categories for specific forums and topics. So it's like a gathering of like minded people. Uh, and it feels like with the reputation that 4chan has got, it attracts like the weirdos, the loners, the people who aren't able to talk about these things anywhere else. Um, but on to the point of like forums being the place of conversation. Um, it's like it feels like it's the peak. It feels like you're standing above everything else on the world. It feels like it's not just having. I guess it's sort of like having a regular conversation, but 4chan feels like a platform that's kind of disconnected with what they are actually talking about. It's kind of meta. Um, so you got the internet as a whole, everything that happens on the internet, conversations about things happening in real life as well, and then there's actual real life itself where things actually happen. So I've made a layer cake here. First, there's real life stuff, events, people, politics, weather, media, entertainment, what have you. And then you have the internet and all of the social medias where people gather to talk about all of those topics. And honestly, I think above all of that is 4chan. Actually, I guess I'm kind of putting 4chan on a pedestal here because, like, they also discuss real life events. But I think, at least the thread that I visited, it's really only talking about things that people have released on the internet. So, I mean, whatever. I guess any social media has the capacity to talk about anything that happened anywhere, even on other social medias. Sure, but 4chan specifically has this aesthetic and this attitude of being ancient and consistent, long running. And I feel like people are generally a lot more open about themselves and real when it comes to 4chan. Like I'm reading a couple of posts on 4chan compared to other social medias. There's no air of trying to impress people or showing off something, like on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. People are just having conversations and commenting on things because that's really what they're thinking. Like, I think it's because on other social media platforms there's likes and engagement, and it drives people to make interesting content to get those numbers up. In 4chan, there's nothing like that. And I think that's the reason why everything's so free and everyone's being real to themselves and is able to open up to other people. So yeah, I guess that kind of brings up the animicity of everyone. Another thing is just like there's identity when it comes to what you say. It's completely disconnected. Like, damn, I'm saying like a lot. On other social media platforms, there's profile pictures and usernames. People can connect a thing you say to who you are, but I suppose on 4chan, because everyone is anonymous, the only thing that matters is what you say, which I think is interesting. Like, it doesn't make you self-conscious about what people will think about you if you say something. You can just say it. Uh, that said, though, another thing that I realize is everyone's very mean, but I think everyone's just being honest. And some people don't like the meanness attitude of 4chan, but I think like it doesn't matter if everyone on there is equally mean to everything. They are not prejudiced. So, and again, they're just being honest about their opinions. I mean, I think everyone's still somewhat respectable. They don't just go around flinging insults for no reason. I haven't seen much of that. And yes, it does definitely attract some people who are actually toxic in real life. So they would be toxic on 4chan, but I haven't seen too much of that either. I guess it just depends on where you hang out. The last thing that I wanted to mention is the knowledge that 4chan has. Like, 4chan feels like it's one big entity because of the animicity. It's not a gathering of people. When you read through a conversation, it feels like you're witnessing it happen, but there's none of the awkwardness in real life when you're expected to say something. You can just like read the conversation other people have and you can gain something from it. You don't have to participate. And since you're looking at your laptop, you're really only looking at one entity. That's weird. Like, you know that a lot of people contributed to this, but for some reason, to me, it doesn't feel like that. It feels like, since this is just the kind of people that 4chan maybe attracts, it feels like you're talking to some smarmy anime protagonist that's real edgy. It feels kind of sharp as well. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I'm high. Okay, one more thing. 4chan is like this gathering of knowledge of a lot of people that has spent a lot of time on the internet. You wouldn't be in 4chan unless you would have spent a lot of time on the internet. There's like no reason for you to be a newbie and be at 4chan, because the kind of information you get from 4chan is very deep, very rabbit holey for people who have already seen the rest of the internet. They're trying to see something new. That's for me. That's the reason why I visited it. So what you get is just a lot of other people's experiences, like you sending knowledge and pictures and information from places that you've never seen before, that's new, that's interesting, that appeals to you specifically as well. And I find that just incredible. I haven't seen anywhere else that does that, really, maybe except for Reddit. A couple of social medias, they have like algorithms that do send you cool things, but it's not like, I feel like it's not always personally appealing. No, maybe the better word is that there's no human connection to it. Like I overheard uh in real life yesterday someone really got into gypsy weddings. So on YouTube it would just YouTube, for example, would just give you tons of clips of gypsy weddings, but um, maybe if I went to a 4chan post, there would be very specific examples of crazy things happening in gypsy weddings, and people would be replying and talking about it. So I'd know what was interesting about it before I clicked on it. That's, yeah. So that's what's great about 4chan. I might go there a bit more often, but honestly, I have no interest in actually engaging it too deeply. Like I'm just here to observe, okay? I don't find what I want anywhere else. So I go there and it's a very comfy sort of feeling that I get whenever I go there, which is what I tried to describe. So that's that. Consume everything and goodbye.